local news that matters on Local 22 News.
At this place in history, we're in East Rupert with the Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. What brings us here?
So we are standing near the site of Vermont's one and only official mint.
Oh, okay. How do we find out more?
So we're going to go visit our friend John Mathewson, who's the curator of the Dorset History Museum. And we're also going to take a look at a building that we think possibly could have even been the mint.
All right, let's do it. First question right off the bat. Why a mint in Vermont?
Because Vermont in 1777 decided to go its own way and become a republic, and they needed their own money. And so by 1785, that need was very strong, and so they allowed Reuben Harmon of Rupert, Vermont, to make coins. He did it from 1785 to 1788, and there were two designs. The first design was really cool. I really like it. And the second design, because they realized they had to fit in more with other coins, was just some unknown man, his profile.
And now is this the version of the coin that you like with the mountains on it and the,
yes,
the plow? Yeah.
And the plow.
Very cool.
The rising sun and then the star on the back. Yes.
So when I think about a mint, I immediately go to like one of the U.S. mints I visited, which is all this machinery and it's like stamping out huge numbers of coins. I'm assuming that's not how this mint operated in Rupert, Vermont.
No, actually it is.
Really?
Only in, 18th century style.
Okay.
Not quite as big, because they didn't need to make as many coins, but they did have multiple pressings of multiple molds for the coins, and there was a lot of smelting going on there. Matter of fact, there's a barn in North Rupert, Vermont right now that they've done the metallurgical analysis on the beams and found trace elements of all the smelted metals in the beams. So that's how they know that the Harmon Mint building is still standing. A lot of the coin makers who helped Reuben Harmon out came up from Connecticut. And as you can well imagine, if you're making coins, if you're making money, you're going to get some ne'er-do-wells. And the really interesting story and really unexamined part of the Harmon Mint story is what happened to these convicted counterfeiters after the Harmon Mint went out of business. They had a legitimate work for a while. They had been convicted of counterfeiting in Connecticut. You could tell because they would be branded with the letter C and have their ears chopped off a little bit. So, you can't really hide that too well. But there are stories of them counterfeiting in the hills of Rupert into the 1800s.
At this place in history.